let's shift gears and go talk about our first big game of the week and what we think is going to happen. So, first big game that we have this week is one that I'm sure everyone has on their calendars. They circled it. It's going to be 12 p.m. Sit on the couch and turn on some football right after game day ends, and it is Clemson Tigers going to Atlanta and playing the Georgia Bulldogs at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Going to be a good one. It's been a couple years since they've done this. 2021, they played this game, and Georgia won 10-3 then. I think we'll see a different game here.
Yeah, definitely think we'll see a different game here. I think DJU was the quarterback at the time for Clemson, and JT Daniels was part-time quarterback with Stetson Bennett. It was out in Charlotte. So this year it's in Atlanta. It's a great way to start the season. Both teams have a strong shot to win their conference, and it'll be fun. Like Clemson last year, first season in a while, they didn't have a 10-win season. They returned Cade Klubnik. I was doing some research. It feels like he's been in college for so long, but he's only a junior. He had 19 touchdowns last year to 9 picks. Showed a ton of bright upside as a team. They ripped off 5 straight wins to end the season. Big wins over Kentucky and the Gator Bowl and some of the other games as well. And also another player to watch for Clemson would probably be Phil Maffa, their running back. He's going to replace the production from Will Shipley, who went to the NFL for the Eagles. Highly touted 5-star recruit in the NFL now, but it should be an interesting one. They return a lot of production on defense at Clemson, so they ranked about 8th in the nation when it comes to total yards allowed, which will be fun to see how they match up against Carson Beck and that newly revamped Georgia offense.
Yeah.
Go ahead after you.
Well, I was going to say, you brought up Phil Maffa, and that's a great point. He had that dynamic duo with Will Shipley last year, and now they lost half of that. So what does the power back do this year? You almost had 1,000 yards last season, and looking at Georgia, where if you talk about how good Georgia is, you're not, bringing anything new to anyone's attention. Everyone wants to, they hear how good Georgia is. It's tough to find, something to talk negatively about. But the only thing to maybe bring up there when you talk about Phil Maffa is that Georgia was 43rd last year in rushing yards allowed. They were the first Georgia team since 2018 to let up over 3 yards per carry. So when you bring a guy like Phil Maffa in, you have someone tough on the ground. So it's a great point to bring up with him and the power and seniority that he brings to this team.
Definitely. And I think that, a lot of people are looking at this matchup. I can't speak for everyone, of course, but looking at this and just thinking of Georgia's traditional defense, and it has ranked very highly, but the rushing defense was definitely an area of opportunity. Players such as Mikael Williams at defensive end, at first round projected defensive end, has stated that like last season was not really like he felt like he could have provided more, right? And on the offensive side, Georgia made some really key pickups, picking up Dominic Lovett from Missouri. He had 613 yards and 4 touchdowns. Probably saw an even bigger role for himself at UGA. And then picking up Trevor Etienne, of course, with 753 yards and 8 touchdowns. So it'll be a really fun matchup to see how they kind of duke it out, and how each team can really show off their strengths.
Yeah, no, and it's the weapons on Georgia is what people are going to be looking at. He lost his 2 favorite weapons to the draft. There's no shortage of media out there about what Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers are about to do in the NFL. But how do you fill the gaps that they leave at Georgia? I mean, Bowers went down last year, and Oscar Delp stepped in and played great. He was ready for that role. I think he comes in is the great weapon for Beck this year, where he has that outlet, someone he can throw to every time across the middle. That is going to be the key for them. And also Colby Young, to Miami transfer, coming in. He's going to be great at the X out wide. It's Georgia, it's recruiting. It's how do you reload and continue to keep the momentum going year over year. So their offense, I don't think, is going to be missing a step, and they're going to be firing on all cylinders again.
Definitely. And again, like on the defensive front, you look at, so many good players that come from the program. Jordan Davis, a D tackle, Nolan Smith, OLB, rush end, and Kristen Miller is another one of those players who's really kind of hoping to step into that Jordan Davis type role for them to help, take that leap on the run defense side, as they're kind of matched and paired against, Cade and Phil Maffa as well. So, I think I had this game going to Georgia, and I want to say my score was 28-17.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I think you're spot on it. Where the game is going to be, we talked about Georgia's defense. Clemson hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiver since 2020. They don't have that weapon. I think where Georgia is going to be able to swarm the things that are working. They're great at defensive adjustments at half. Kirby Smart is great at adjusting to those things. You got him 28-17. I think 31-17. I love Georgia's chances here. I love Georgia's chances this season, although I have them dropping a couple games down the stretch. The big question for Clemson, underutilization of the portal. Does that mean that they're set on what they got, or have they not figured out how to use it? So we both got Georgia this week.
Yeah, we both got Georgia this week. Not too many other thoughts there. Like I said, I'm riding with Georgia. It's by no means a home game. Greenville, South Carolina is relatively close to Atlanta. There's a ton of Clemson alumni here in Atlanta. I see them walking around all the time and in the city. But I have Georgia taking this one. I think that they want to set the season off strong, and it should be a fun one. It's a great appetizer to start the season.
Yeah, no, we love ACC teams playing a big week one. They're trying to prove something here, that they're not the bottom. They're not one of the bottom conferences that they can compete. So we'll see. We're excited to watch that one.
Yeah, maybe it'll be an SEC tryout for Clemson. We'll see.
Could be.